All right, let's talk about the Meesho IPO, because it wasn't just a success, it was an absolute blockbuster. Today, we're digging into the jaw-dropping numbers to figure out what this massive investor demand really tells us about the future of e-commerce in India.
Okay, let's just jump right in with the single most important number you need to see, 79.02. That's how many times the Meesho IPO was oversubscribed. To put that in perspective, for every single share available, there were nearly 80 buyers all lined up. That's just a staggering level of demand.
You know, a number like that isn't just about good PR. It's a massive, massive vote of confidence from the market. But the real question is, who exactly is feeling that optimistic? Let's break down where all this demand actually came from. So during that 3-day subscription window, the demand was just immediate and overwhelming. Right from the get-go, it was clear this was one of the hottest IPOs of the entire year. So who was really driving this frenzy? Was it just a bunch of everyday retail investors, people like you and me? Or were the big institutional players, the big money, making a major bet on where Meesho is headed? Okay, so this table lays out the raw data, and it tells a really fascinating story. You can see retail investors showed some incredible enthusiasm, right? Subscribing over 19 times. But that's not where the real story is. Look at that top line. That's where things get wild. In this chart, wow, it just makes it crystal clear, doesn't it? The real muscle, the real financial power, came from the qualified institutional buyers, or QIBs. We're talking about the big fish here, the major funds. And they didn't just dip their toes in. They oversubscribed their portion by a jaw-dropping 120 times. And look, this isn't just some random speculative hype. This is a cold, calculated bet from some of the market's most sophisticated players. What they're saying is they see enormous potential in Meesho's whole game plan to completely dominate e-commerce in India's smaller cities and towns. So, with the subscription window officially closed, everyone's attention now shifts to the next crucial phase. It's the countdown to the official market debut, and for anyone who actually applied, well, the next few days are absolutely critical. So if you applied, these are the dates you're going to want to circle on your calendar. Allotment gets finalized on December 8th. That's the day you find out if you actually got shares. Refunds and credits happen on the 9th, and then the main event, the big one, listing on December 10th. With this insane level of demand, the million-dollar question, literally, is what's going to happen on listing day? What price will this thing actually open at? Are investors going to get that big listing pop everyone's hoping for? Well, to get a sneak peek at that, we look at something called the gray market premium, or GMP. The easiest way to think about it is it's like the stock market's version of pre-release hype, It's not official, but it's a super closely watched signal of what people are willing to pay before the stock even hits the market. And this slide breaks down the simple math that all the analysts are doing right now. It's pretty straightforward. You take the IPO's top price, which was 111 rupees. Then you add the current gray market premium, which is hovering around 50 rupees. And voila, you get a potential listing price of around 161 rupees a share.
So what does that calculation mean in real terms? It points to a potential listing day gain of over 44%. I mean, that is a huge premium right out of the gate.
Now, this is the part where we have to be super clear. While everything is pointing to a blockbuster debut, it is so important to remember that the GMP is just a forecast. It's not a guarantee. It shows incredible optimism for sure, but the actual market price on listing day, well, that can always be a different story. So let's pull back from the nitty-gritty numbers for a second. Beyond this one company, what does the wild success of the Meesho IPO really tell us about the broader market and what investors are thinking? So if you're going to remember just a few things from this, here they are. First, the scale of demand was just phenomenal, absolutely undeniable. Second, and this is key, that demand was driven by smart institutional money. And finally, the whole market is reading this as a huge vote of confidence in India's entire value e-commerce sector. It's a massive bet on that next wave of online shoppers. And all of this really leads to one final, really important question. Is Meesho's Blockbuster debut just a one-off, an outlier? Or is it the starting gun for a brand new boom in Indian tech IPOs? Now that is the big story everyone's going to be watching.